possibility that our ABC is a woman. The police have vague suspicions, but nothing on which they can act. Nevertheless, there must exist other indications which are not at all vague. For example, the assassin did not arrive at Bexhill at midnight and find conveniently on the beach a young lady whose name began with B.
Must we go into all this?
It is necessary to go into everything, Mr. Fraser. You are not here to save your feelings by refusing to think of details, but if need be, to harrow them by going into the matter as deeply as possible. I make the assumption that one of you, perhaps all of you, knows something that they do not realize they know. It is like a jigsaw puzzle. Each of you may perhaps have a piece apparently without meaning, but which, when it is put in its place, may show a definite portion of the picture as a whole.
Words.
Huh? What did you say, Mademoiselle Bernard?
What you've been saying. It's just words. It doesn't mean anything.
Well, I think it makes sense. It's often only when you're talking things over that you can see your way clear.
And what do you think, Miss Gray?
I think that the principle of talking over things is always sound.
Quite right, my dear.
Suppose you all go over your own remembrances of the time preceding the murder. Now, shall we start with you, Mr. Clark?
In the morning, I went off sailing.
Now, reflect. Did you notice anyone on your way down to the sea that morning?
Oh, lots of people. There was a remarkably fat woman in a striped silk dress, 2 young men with a fox terrier on the beach throwing stones for it, and a girl with yellow hair screaming as she ran into the sea.
Huh? You are a good subject, Mr. Clark. And what about you, Miss Gray?
I did the correspondence with Sir Carmichael and saw the housekeeper. In the afternoon, I did some needlework. It was quite an ordinary day. I went to bed early.
Miss Ballard, can you trace your memories of the last time you saw your sister?
It was about a fortnight before her death. I was down for the weekend and we went over to St. Leonard's.
And can you remember what you talked about?
Yes. She said how much she disliked Millie Bigley.
Millie Bigley?
She was another waitress at the cafe.
And what can you remember about the day she was killed?
After I'd talked to you, sir.
Yes.
Just one little thing. Mum had bought Betty some new stockings on the day before it happened. I found her crying over them. I'd bought them for Betty, she said, and she never wore them.
And what about you, Mr. Fraser? You said that at first you waited for a while outside the cafe to see which way Betty might go. Did you notice anyone at all while you were waiting there?
There were a number of people walking along the front. I really can't remember any of them.
But however preoccupied you were, you
I don't remember anything.
Miss Straw, I suppose you got the letters from your aunt?
Oh, yes, sir. There was one only 2 days before the murder. She said that the old devil had been round.
Meaning Mr. Asher?
Yes, and she'd sent him away with a flea in his ear. And she expected me over on the Wednesday. It was going to be my birthday. I'm sorry, sir.
Oughtn't we to be making plans for the next...
Of course we should. The moment the next letter arrives, we should all join forces.
But we do not have to wait until then. You must continue to search your memories. And there are a few practical things you can do.
Of course. I'll make a note of them. Go ahead.